Hi, good evening, and I'm Tom Alonso here at Lunenburg Public Access Studios. The holiday season is upon us, and of course, everybody knows what that means around town. We've already had our tree lighting and ceremony there in town. And of course, if anybody has started their Christmas shopping, they have seen out and about the red kettles of the Salvation Army. With us in the studio today, I have two people representing the local chapter of the Salvation Army on Water Street in Fitchburg. They are, to my immediate right, Paul Govin, and to my far right, Lynette Valentine from Salvation Army. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming in. So, of course, everybody's familiar with the red kettles, but for those who may not be, I'd like you to explain, first of all, introduce yourselves more fully, and then just your names and your roles there at the Salvation Army. And besides the red kettles, what you are doing in preparation for the Christmas holidays and all the work that the Salvation Army does.
Okay. Well, my name is Paul Govin. I'm the chairperson of the advisory board for the Salvation Army. We have a very active board who are committed to helping the Salvation Army fulfill their requirements and their tasks in the community and doing the work that's necessary to help the underprivileged people in our community that frankly need a lot of help this year.
Hi, and I'm Envoy Lynette Valentine, and I oversee everything that the Salvation Army is doing in the three communities we serve, which is Fitchburg, Leominster, and Lunenburg. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot of need in our community. Those red kettles are not just an annoying bell. Those red kettles and the campaign is so important and vital because that's where the money collected in those kettles stays right here in our community. And the money that we collect in the kettles helps in various areas such as social service, helping people with rent, utilities, families in need for the holiday. We have the angel tree. We also have our boot drives in the area, which I know we're going to talk about. All the money collected stays right here and helps us throughout the whole year support the summer fun programs, the music mentoring. So there's just a lot going on.
Excellent. So let's start with the boot drive. So I know that there are several boot drives in the communities, in the communities you serve. And who is manning those or womening those, as it were? Who is doing those, and how many are you having, and what has been the response? I know you've already had some to begin the season thus far.
Yes, we've had several already, and they've been very, very successful. We have one coming up on the 9th of December. It'll be in actually two locations in Lunenburg, one at the center of town, and one out by where Whalen Park used to be. I'm not sure what they call that intersection. But
Electric Avenue and Whalum Road.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so we'll be out in those two locations, and those have been in the past very, very successful. And then the following week on the 16th, we'll be back in Fitchburg at the junction of of Summer Street and John Fitch, yes. So that intersection where the fire station and the Carol's Dairy Bar is right there. And then the final week on the 23rd, we'll be at the Target store, the hill leading up to the Target Plaza where all of the little shops and stores are. We'll be on the hill going up there. And that's always a very, very busy spot, especially the last weekend before Christmas.
And who are you getting to collect? I mean,
Well, that's a big
volunteers from where?
We have volunteers from many places, but our key group of people are the cadets from the ROTC program at Monty Tech. These young people, both men and women, who are in training and to become military people in their careers is where they're training. And they're in that ROTC program, and they are just very, very, very good young people who do a great job for us. They're very professional. They're used to listening and following directions. I hate to say take orders, but that's kind of what the military is all about. So they're out there, and we tell them, okay, this is how you approach your position on the street. Don't be out where you could be in danger of getting hurt. And whatever you tell them, they follow the instructions to the T. They're really great young people. And without them, we frankly would be very hard-pressed to do what we've been able to do so far and for the rest of the season. They have, again, been great. all the boot drives leading up to now. They'll be very much involved with Lunenburg this coming week, Fitchburg the week after. Unfortunately, on the 23rd, they're out of school, so they're out for school for this Christmas break. So we won't have their assistants there, and we are looking for volunteers. We're going to need quite a few. That's a very, very busy spot that day. So we have some people already volunteered, but we certainly could use more. And if anyone's interested in helping, they could call the Salvation Army office, and Lynette will give you the phone number so I don't mess it up.
978-342-3300.
Put it up. Just say it one more time for people who were maybe looking for a piece of paper, and also we'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
978-342-3300.
Now, how has been the response so far comparatively to other years as far as donations? Are donations steady? Are they improving? Or
The donations this year are improving, which is always, it brings great joy to us to see the numbers incline. Last year we didn't hit our goal, and it was a very difficult year for us. The numbers are climbing. We're just hoping to hit our goal so we can keep pressing forward and making new things in the community. We have other disasters that have come, nationwide disasters this year. We have a lot of refugees here from Puerto Rico, Texas, Florida, and our numbers of people in need have climbed. It's escalating. So, we're doing families are doing what you would do. If you have a family in need, they come in there with you. And we're seeing a lot of that in our communities right now.
you mentioned also the Angels program.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the Angels program is? From the
I can do
Salvation
that
Army?
for you. We start doing our application process back in October, and this year, again, it's on the incline of people needing help with Christmas, but this is a very organized way of being able to help the many families that we do. And what happens is the kids' names go on the application. They list a few items that they need. We write up a tag. We put their name on it, their first name, a few of the items that they would like to have. We take it and we place it on an angel tree. People take an angel, they buy a gift, they bring it to us. The gift tag has a number on it. It's not just the number for count. The number on that tag will be matched up with the rest of that family, put in a bag, and the family has a day they come pick it up. So it's a unique way that the children are getting what they ask for, and we're able to do it in an organized manner. That way, everyone is taken care of. And with the help from the community and the kindness and the support from businesses, individuals, we're able to fulfill those angels.
The tags look like little boys or little girls, and they're just a little cardboard piece. It does have the age, it does have the gender of the child that you'd be buying the gift for, and as Lynette mentioned, their wish list of a couple items. And always we encourage people to, try to buy things that are age specific, for young people, when they would need probably hats and gloves and things like that for school and so forth. So those things are always welcome as well. So we try to help them out with giving them something that's special for them for Christmas, but the necessities are always welcome as well.
Sure. What is the age range of the Angel program? What is the youngest and the oldest?
We go from 0 to 12.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned a goal a couple of times. I don't know if you're able or willing to share that goal. What is the goal that you have?
Our goal this year is $90,000. Yeah. And what that is, it seems like a lot, but it's divided up throughout all 3 communities, all the families, the different programs. The one thing I want to elaborate on is the Summer Fun program. We bring the kids into the into the core, and they're there every day, Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. With that program, they get a lunch and a breakfast, and the families don't have to worry about how they're going to feed their children, because that is a big problem in the summertime, is feeding the kids that are on programs at school. It's another expense for the families that is a burden to some. So we have the Summer Fund program, and the money is going to be dispensed throughout the whole year through social service. There's a lot of money goes out in the heating and the oil and rent, utility, all of that. So. Yes.
Are there any other programs beside the 3 we talked about, the kettles, the boot drives, and the Angels program, that people should be aware about?
In the spring, we do an auction, and that's our only other fundraiser. We have our red kettles is probably 95% of how the Salvation Army is able to support all three communities.
Excellent. I think we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back to talk about more about what the Salvation Army does all year round, not just during Christmas. So stay tuned. Thank you. Welcome back again. I'm Tom Alonso, and I'm here with Paul Govin and Lynette Valentine from the Salvation Army. Previously, we were speaking about all the activities they have going on during the Christmas season. I'd like to touch on some of the things that the Salvation Army does all year round. So, tell us a little bit about what the programs, the all year programs that the Salvation Army does, or even other seasonal programs outside of Christmas. What are the things that we should be aware of in ways that the Salvation Army is helping the community?
Well, one of the programs that does run all year long is called Bridging the Gap. The Bridging the Gap program is working with the court system and trying to do intervention for youthful offenders, young people who have made bad decisions, have gotten into trouble, and could be, sent away into, different really difficult scenarios. So the Bridging the Gap program gives the court system an alternative to those type of structured programs where the kids come to us, we work with them, we teach them life skills, we teach them how to make better decisions, I guess is the biggest thing. That's the problem with a lot of young people. They get led astray by friends and they make really bad decisions, and next thing you know, they're on the wrong side of the law. And we're trying to help that from not getting as bad as it could be. And so we're working with these young people, in most cases doing a really good job. Our recidivism rate of children, or I shouldn't say children because they're young people, usually teenagers, and of them getting back into trouble is less than, I think it was 15%. Majority of the kids who come through the program, 85% or more, stay out of trouble once they complete the program, which is a great statistic for young people in that age group.
Excellent. We've had a lot of natural disasters,
Right.
and I know, although they didn't hit here locally, I know that your organization was involved, and in fact, some people, I believe, locally were involved in some of those relief efforts. Can you speak to that?
I can. This year has been a national disaster. Like, it's just been worldwide.
One after the other, it seems.
Right. It seems like we've got one handled, and there was another one, then another one on the way. And we're proud to say that we did roll out the EDS program here in Fitchburg, serving Fitchburg, Leominster, and Lunenburg. And we were able to send out 2 of our very own EDS volunteers, and they are from Lunenburg, and they went for 2 weeks. And what they came back with, the stories that they, and what they've seen, one of them mentioned to me, Dave McDonald, I am going to say his name, but a little boy looked up at him, and he was helping this little boy at a school where there was no food. And the little boy looked up at him and said, "God bless you." That just gives me chills even if I say it again. And then Joanne, she went down, and she still talks about the experience. It was life-changing for both of them. And to be able to do that, they want to go again. But what I want to stress is I asked who wanted to go, and with no hesitation, both of them said, "We want to go." And they were gone. I was literally a day in advance, and they were gone for 2 weeks. So the EDS program is there to aid and abet. And the Salvation Army is going to be in all areas, Puerto Rico, Texas, and Florida, until it's restored and rebuilt. And that's something I can say with great pleasure, because there is a need, and it's going to take a long time.
Which of those places were the people from Lunenburg deployed that you mentioned?
They went down to Florida.
Florida, okay.
Yes.
They kind of started in the northern part of the state, and as things got a little bit better with power coming back on, they would keep moving further south because the damage was, started in the south and moved north. So as they were able to get one area running again, they would move down a little further, a little further, a little further. And everywhere they went, there was still more damage. And, getting the power was such a critical thing. And, we take it for granted all the time. Sure. Just turn a light switch and we got lights on. But when there's no power and now you can't pump gas, you can't keep your food refrigerated, everything we do is so dependent on power. Without that, it's really, really difficult. So that's where the need really came in, and we were feeding people, thousands of people a day, serving thousands of meals every day with the canteens that were down on this relief project. So it was amazing.
What triggers a local organization or a local chapter to serve down in Florida? Because I'm assuming that obviously there are local chapters, and of course the need was so overwhelming.
Right.
What triggers you going there, and what signals the fact that you then can bring those people back? At what point do you determine that?
Well, what happens is, again, the Salvation Army is nationwide, and they do have their local corp. What happened was there were so many back-to-back that they'll pull out the closest two, and they'll use those canteens, and they'll caravan down. And then when it was one devastation after another, Massachusetts Division was called to go to aid and abet to give the other people that are down there the break. So it's all based on the command at that central area where the devastation is. They command up, we go down. And I do believe the caravan was 10 deep with canteens going down the highway. So when they call and tell us we go, we go.
Excellent. So what other programs? You mentioned a little bit about this summer program, and I believe there's a camp program too.
There's Camp Wonderland, and it's in Sharon, Massachusetts, and with great joy, we sent 17 kids to camp this year, and they'd go for a whole week. And that camp is designed to let the kids experience things they wouldn't if they were here. Like some kids don't even get a vacation. So with those kids, when they come back, they want to go again. They want to go again, but the nice thing is they're making lifetime friends. They'll make friends with people they'll probably be in contact with forever. And it's a great week away, and the takeaway is amazing.
So are there any other programs, first of all, that you
Yes.
wanted? Okay.
One more.
All right.
This one here came about a year ago. We started the music mentoring program. And these kids are coming, every child should have the gift of music. And we were able to start up a music mentoring program, and we have 30 kids in that program now. They're learning how to play brass instruments, a singing company, percussion. Last night they had their very first field trip, and they were at, they went to Boston, and they sang at the Sounds of Christmas. And it's on Facebook. It was beautiful. The kids just sang their little hearts out. But you know what? They look forward to it. And every week they're ready and excited. And the nice thing is we have mentors that are coming, hopefully from Fitchburg State students and the colleges sharing the gift of music to a child.
And all those
And
mentors,
that's every
I'm
week
assuming.
on Tuesday.
And
Yes.
all of them are donating their time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Professionals as well as students,
Yes.
you mentioned students?
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, we were talking briefly before that the Salvation Army is the organization that serves the communities and serves through disasters and so on and so forth, but their overhead is the smallest of any charitable organization in the country, and frankly, that's why I got involved several years ago, because I've heard from different places. I'm not going to give names out of other organizations, but some organizations, their overhead is very, very high, and the Salvation Army has the lowest overhead of any national charity that's out there. And with that in mind, the money that's collected stays in our community, does the most good possible in our community, because the overhead is so very low. And the people that are involved with the Salvation Army, we didn't really mention it, but the Salvation Army is a church. It's a religion, and it doesn't require that you be part of their religion to get services. I'm not even, I'm a Catholic. I have nothing to do with their religion, so you don't have to be involved with their religion to be involved with the Salvation Army. But what it does, because these people have a religious calling, basically, and they devote their life to God and to doing good in God's name. And that's why they work for very, very little, just basically, the roof over their heads and the opportunity to serve the community. So that's why they can keep their costs so low.
Well, I know that's a big issue now for people giving charities. I mean, one of the unfortunate things that came about in the natural disasters was people didn't know that the charities they were giving to, would the money really get there? And so it became very prominent for people to research how much of the money they give actually gets to the people they're trying to help.
Right.
And I'm glad to hear that, because I've seen in my own research too that the Salvation Army is the at the lowest, near the lowest, if not the lowest, in overhead, so that the percentage of money that people donate gets to the people that are trying to help. And of course, as you said, for each chapter, it stays local to that chapter. So in your case, Fitchburg, Leominster, and Lunenburg.
Correct.
So I think we're going to take one more short break here, and then we're going to come back and tackle the question about how people out there can help beside donating money. But how can people get involved if they want to? And maybe some stories about, without using people's names, about families that were helped that you can share as an indication about where the money goes. So we'll be right back again with Paul and Lynette. Thank you.
This is a story about a battle. Believe it or not, it's a real-life battle that happens every day, all around us. It's a battle against all the things in life that are hard, and sometimes people don't win. Sometimes their stockings are still empty on Christmas morning, or they have to go to bed hungry, or they don't go to bed at all because they don't have a home or even a place to sleep. But there's an army dedicated to fighting this battle. They're in every town and every city. A bell is their battle cry, and their weapons are hope, kindness, and compassion. Best of all, anybody can join them, anywhere there's a red kettle. Because at Christmas, love has an army that fights for good. When you give, you help the Salvation Army fight for those most in need.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Tom Alonso with Paul Govin and Lynette Valentine from the Salvation Army, talking about their organization and all the things they do for the community. One of the things I'd like to talk about is, we've talked about all the programs and the fundraising that you do. I'd like to talk a little bit about how people who are listening to the program here can get involved if they are so inclined. Different kinds of volunteers, different kinds of way they can help, beside obviously, donating money. I mean, but beside that, how else can people get involved?
Well, obviously, the donations are important, but one of the big ways of getting involved is volunteer to be a bell ringer. And we do, kettles. We talked about the kettles and how important they are, but we need volunteers to stand at these kettles to ring the bell. And it can be anybody. It can be for an hour. It can be for a day. We've had families that will volunteer to take the responsibility for a day of ringing at one location, and we've had other people that can only do an hour, and that's fine. Whatever you can do, we can use all the help we can get. There's not too much, there's not too little. We need all the help. We've got 2,500...
2,865 volunteer hours to fill from November till December 23rd.
There's a lot of work
So
to be
there's a
done.
lot of hours that are available, but one thing I'll chime in on is that there's a lot of school programs, there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of organizations that the kids need to have community service hours. It's a wonderful way they could do that. They could ring the bell for every day for a couple hours after school. They could do it with mom and dad. The groups and clubs can get all their hours. The Fitchburg State University baseball team, they're done. They rang for a whole week. The coach signed them up, 2 at each kettle each day, and bam, they're done. So there's a lot of ways people can get involved. If you call 978-342-3300, I'll be glad to go over that with you.
You mentioned during the break also that there's ways you talked about adopting a family.
Right, well, we talked a little bit about the angel trees, and that's working with an individual child and handling the needs of that child. But as Lynette mentioned, we have a lot of families coming in right now because of all the disasters around the country. And we have local families as well. And what some companies have done, and my company has done this year, is we're adopting a family. So instead of just looking to help one child, there's families in need in general. So we're taking a family where a father has lost his job, is unemployed right now, and really struggling. And he's got 4 children and a wife to support. and he's trying to find a way to getting through this season. So we're going to do what we can to help him to get the toys for his children, to get some clothing for them, to help in other ways that they need to get through the holiday season. So that's another option. People can adopt family. We have families of all different sizes. Unfortunately, the need is great. And, if you want a family that has 3 people in it, that's available. If you want a family that has 8 people in it, we have those too. So big companies, small companies, it's a good way of doing something special. And my staff is out shopping for the gifts that the young people wanted from this family. And so, they're really feeling good about doing something like that.
Talking about volunteers, can you both just give your personal reasons why you're involved and how you got involved with the Salvation Army?
You want to
You
start?
want me to go first?
Okay.
Actually, I have been involved with the Salvation Army as long as I can remember. Both my parents were officers for the Salvation Army, so I'm like 5th generation. It goes way back. And I don't know my life without the Salvation Army. But I know that I had to ring the bell. I didn't have a choice. I was voluntold, and it stuck with me. I'm not going to lie to anyone on that. The red kettle, that bell, it's not an annoying bell. That's the sound of helping somebody. My mother always said, if you pass a red kettle, you're passing someone in need. I never forgot that, and I still do that. I'm going up the road to the boot drives, and I have my window down, and I'm throwing my money in the kettle. I know where the money goes. I know what it's for, and with great pleasure, I say, I think that it was bestowed on my heart at a very young age, and the Salvation Army I hold dear to my heart. It's a passion, it's a love, and it's something that I will never change on. So,
Paul?
Well, I got involved first through the local Rotary Club. I've been in the Rotary Club in Fitchburg since 1974, and we rang the bell, and we still ring the bell every year for the Salvation Army. And one year back in the late 70s, early 80s, the officer, like Lynette, who was from the Salvation Army, was involved with our Rotary Club, as Lynette is as well. And that officer came and said that they had a need that Christmas to deliver meals, because for many years, it kind of changed a little bit now, but for many years, the Meals on Wheels program that was in this area, the drivers wouldn't work on Christmas, obviously. It was a day off for them, but the people who usually got meals needed to be fed. And so the Salvation Army took the responsibility on of cooking meals on Christmas morning. They had volunteers. Dave McDonald was there for many, many years doing the cooking of all the turkeys and all the prep work, and a whole team of volunteers would be there cooking, prepping, and then delivering the meals. And that's where I got involved, was delivering the meals. I started off doing it by myself, and then as my kids got older, they came with me, and we would take usually 15 or 20 meals and deliver them around the route throughout the city of Fitchburg, Leominster, and Lunenburg, where there was people who, without that delivery, would not have a Christmas dinner. And that's really where I got involved. And from there, I got involved with the board of directors and so on and so forth.
Excellent. Any final notes, any final words for people that you would like to share, success stories, feel-good stories about, just how the work that the Salvation Army does helps those individuals and those families that you'd like to share?
I do. Working in the social service department, part of the arm of the Salvation Army, we see it every day. But the one that's hitting my heart really hard this year was a dad had passed away with cancer. The mom is devastated. The children are heartbroken. I don't want to cry. I don't want to. I'm going to say this without it. But you know what? It feels good to be an organization that can step in, embrace it, love them through it, help them understand, and with dignity, that mom can have a Christmas for her children. It doesn't get more humble than that. Their lives have changed, and it was of no prevail of theirs. We're here to help them, and that's just one. Every day there's a story. Every day there's a reason for them to come in the door, and it's not just because they don't work or they're on welfare. There's none of that. It's so much more.
Well, I want to take that. I think that's a great place to stop here, and I want to thank both Paul and Lynette for coming by and explaining what they're doing. And I encourage everybody viewing and anybody who passes that red kettle to get involved. If you have the opportunity and you would like to be involved with the Angel program or the boot drive or signing up for the kettle, We'll put the number on the screen again, and Lynette will tell us the number.
978-342-3300.
And I urge you to call them and to give generously, because again, the people that you're helping are the people that they described, and they're the people in our communities. And that's how community works. So I can't thank you all enough, and everybody in the organization, for doing the work you do, not only during Christmas, but year round and in all parts of the country, as you did this year. So thank you again, and we look forward to a successful season for you.
Thank you for having us on, and God bless.
Thank you.